Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 13, National Football League. Showdown Sunday is what I have dubbed it. No more buys. Every team, all 32 of them, on the slate in week 13 and from here on out to the remainder of the season. And I tell you what, every game in week 13 to me had some kind of meaning other than just a team trying to get a win. I mean, either you needed to prove something to your opponent, to yourself, or to the rest of the league. And in this game, it was no different. Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts. For the Titans, it's really simple. If you want any chance at this division crown, you got to beat the Colts in this game. You got to have it. You blew an opportunity, a golden opportunity, to put yourself square in the middle of an AFC South race with this Colts team by blowing a 17-3 lead at home on Thursday Night Football just 3 weeks ago. So if you're the Tennessee Titans, you've had opportunities, but you breathe new life into your season with a win on the road against Oakland a week ago. As if the season ended at the end of play on Sunday last week, you would have been the 6th seed in the AFC playoffs. So at 5-6, you find yourself squarely in the midst of a postseason push. Now, you've got to continue to build on that because the Ravens won on Thanksgiving, went to 6-6, bumped you back out to that outside looking in the hunt picture. And so you got to win to reestablish yourself as, the team that's in the playoffs at 6-6. So you just got to keep winning if you're the Tennessee Titans. And look, you beat the Colts in this game, the division isn't out of the realm of possibility either. Again, it would take a lot to go in your favor for you to win the division, but again, a win that pulls you to 6-6, pulls the Colts down to 7-5, puts you one game behind the Indianapolis Colts for the AFC South lead, something that we didn't think would be possible just 3 weeks ago when you lost in Tennessee. So, a huge game for the Titans, equally as big for the Colts. Put this division away. We thought you had done so a couple of weeks ago when you won in Tennessee on Thursday night, but then you go and lay an egg against St. Louis, lay an even bigger egg against the Arizona Cardinals, and hence you find yourself right here in a position where a loss could put you that much closer to this Tennessee Titans team. And again, if you don't win this division, you're probably not going to make it to the postseason because this division looks like one of those type of deals that if you lose this game, you fall to 7-5 on the season. This division could be won with 9-7. And I don't know. With the AFC the way it is, 9-7 might be good enough to get you a wild card berth. But again, you need tiebreakers and this and that to go your way. To eliminate all of that, if you're the Colts, win your division, get in, put all that other stuff to rest, get yourself a home playoff game, and go from there. And God knows you need it with all the injuries that you have and the struggles of your offensive line and no running game. You need a home playoff game. You need the help of your crowd. You need the comfort of being home to help you get past wild card weekend if, in fact, you do win this division and make it to the postseason. So, huge game for both teams involved. And so, this was a sloppy game. This was a game that I was very excited to watch. But once I started to watch, I was disappointed at what I saw. The level of play from both teams, very sloppy. You would have thought these were two teams not in it this season because there was not good play from either team involved. And again, you don't have to be cute. You don't have to be pretty. Just be good. And the Indianapolis Colts were good enough in this game to get the W. And they needed 5 field goals and a touchdown to do so. But again, this Indianapolis Colts team is so frustrating because I feel like they've got some things that you feel like they can build upon. I think this defense is a lot better than it was a season ago, and they're making some strides. But you've seen them being taken advantage of. You saw it against St. Louis. You saw it against Arizona. You even saw this Tennessee Titans team take advantage of them. We saw Houston take advantage of them defensively. So I think they've got some deficiencies defensive-wise. If Robert Mathis isn't getting to the quarterback, then your team can be exposed because you're not going to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He's your main guy in that department. You look at running the football, you can't run the football to save your life. I mean, you traded for Trent Richardson. It was a wasted pick. You'll figure that out in the long run. You can listen to Jim Irsay talk about how he'd make that trade over and over again. I'm pretty sure that as a Colts fan, you out there would say, I wouldn't make that trade again if you put a gun to my head. That's not a good trade. Now you don't have a first-round pick because of it, and you still don't have a run game. And Donald Brown is coming in, and he's helping you somewhat, but it's not enough. And so all of the pressure squarely falls on the shoulders of Andrew Luck. There's no safety valve. There's no safety blanket in Reggie Wayne as he's done for the season. And so you're struggling to find targets to throw to. And this passing game is starting to really resemble that of Andrew Luck when he first came into the league and was kind of struggling, trying to find his way around, making a lot of mistakes because he wasn't comfortable, because he didn't know what he needed to do. It's starting to look a lot like that Andrew Luck that started the season last year, like 3-3. And before you guys went on that run and started to play good football, he's starting to revert back to some old habits and some old mistakes. And the pressure is starting to mount again. This offensive line they were absolutely destroyed in this game by the Tennessee Titans. I mean, the Titans dominated the line of scrimmage in this football game. They stopped the run, except for the later stages of the game. But for the most part, they dominated the line of scrimmage, and they got pressure on Andrew Luck. They sacked him at least 5 times, maybe even 6 in this game. Jarrell Casey was a menace inside, and this Colts offensive line was atrocious in this game, and they can't continue to be that way if they're going to have any success down the road. This wasn't a pretty win. Andrew Luck turned the football over and made some mistakes. He could have had some more mistakes. I mean, George Wilson flat out dropped an interception that was thrown directly to him. You can't get it any easier than that. And so Luck struggled in this game, but he did enough to win. Or maybe the Tennessee Titans didn't do enough to win. Either way, it doesn't matter. The Colts took care of business and got it done at home. And if you're Tennessee, you're just not good enough. You're just not good enough. And some of these injuries are starting to mount. And Delaney Walker went down in this game. And the Jake Locker injury, I don't know if that has an impact on you or not, because I don't know what Jake Locker would be doing right now. And I thought Ryan Fitzpatrick was solid, but he turned the football over. He went back to being the Ryan Fitzpatrick that turned the football over and was the, quarterback that was responsible for the most turnovers in the league last season in Buffalo. He just turned it over too many times. And that fumble that Robert Mathis forced with the Titans driving for points to take the lead, and I feel like that was the one that really changed the complexion of this game. I mean, if you're the Tennessee Titans, that's the one that hurt you the most in this game, because you're trailing 15-14 at that point, if I'm not mistaken. If not 15-14, you're ahead 12-14. Either way, you're going for points. You're almost in field goal range, if not already in field goal range. I don't know if you trust Rob Baronis or not, but if you watch the game, I think he was kicking them from about 55, 60 in pregame. So maybe you were already in his range. I don't know, but you can't fumble right there. You got to feel the pressure. You got to get rid of the football. Robert Mathis comes from behind, strips the football out, Colts recover, and they don't look back from there. I think they get a field goal on that possession, and then later on in the game, they drive down, use that 4-minute offense to really burn the clock, put together a masterful drive to put this game away, and get that touchdown at the end with Donald Brown really pushing forward and using his strength in the offensive line, thrusting him forward into the end zone to put this game on ice, give them an 8-point lead, and ask the Titans to do something that they hadn't done since early in the second half, which is score points. And they weren't able to do so, and Colts secure that victory. But if I'm the Indianapolis Colts, I'm thrilled with the win, because a win is a win is a win in this league. And if you watched Chuck Pagano in the post-game locker room session with his team, he said, look, I don't care how we get them. We just got to start winning. No more excuses. We got to take care of business. You could sense the frustration in his voice because this team is underachieving. They're not playing. Darius Hayward-Bay, he's garbage. And oh my God, that pass Andrew Luck throws to him wide open and he drops it. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that. And you're already struggling to sustain offense. You're already struggling to find targets to throw the football to. Here's a guy that's supposed to be emerging for you as a starter, as a guy that you need to step up in the absence of Reggie Wayne. He's dropping the football. But that's what Darius Hayward-Bay does. That's what DHB does. He drops the football. He's inconsistent. And you had T.Y. Hilton have one bounce off of his hands. I thought it was a tough catch for him to make. The announcers during the game made it seem like he should have caught it. Maybe he should have. Maybe if you ask T.Y. Hilton, he'll tell you, I should have caught that football. I thought it was a tough catch. I thought Andrew Luck had it a little bit too far away from his frame. It's picked off. on the play by Bernard Pollard. That penalty by Moses Foiku right before the half can't happen. Self-inflicted wounds if you're the Titans. That right there is why you lose football games right there. You're going into the half and you give up a field goal because your player is undisciplined and decides to take a reckless shot at a receiver that's not even in the play, uncalled for, gives the Colts a 15-yard penalty when you're going to the half. They ended up tacking on another field goal. You lose the game by 8. And who knows? What if you drive the football down the field, have to go for 2 and lose this game by 2 points, and you could have won without that field goal being scored right before the half? It's plays like that that lose you football games. You look at all the mistakes you made in this game. Fitzpatrick being picked off a couple of times, him fumbling that football, allowing Robert Mathis to push it out. Moses Foiku with that blunder right before the half. George Wilson dropping an interception. You look at all of those mistakes by the Titans. You deserved to lose this football game, and the Colts got it done 22-14. They go to 8-4 in the season and basically wrap up this AFC South division with 4 games to play, up by essentially 3 in this division. This thing is all but signed, sealed, delivered for the Indianapolis Colts. They sweep the Tennessee Titans in the season series. Titans drop to 5-7. While they're out of this race in the AFC South, as the Colts handle this AFC South family business the way they're supposed to, they're not totally out of the wild card picture at 5-7. They're still right there in the mix, only a game behind the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins and all of the teams that are 6-6. So they're still right there. A loss by any one of those teams, coupled by a Titans win, and you're right there where you need to be. But, I mean, if you're the Tennessee Titans, you got to win football games. Down this stretch, you got to find a way to win. No excuses. You got to get the running game going with Chris Johnson. Ryan Fitzpatrick cannot turn the football over. You guys got to take advantage of opportunities when they come your way. A quarterback throws you an interception right in your hands. You got to catch the football. You can't have senseless penalties like the one Moses Foiku had right before the half. You guys have got to start playing better football if you're going to try to make a push for the playoffs. And again, Mike Munchak's job might be in the balance here. If you guys struggle down the stretch, finish this season off 6-10, he could easily get canned after having a great start to this season, and you still don't know what you have at the quarterback position. So there's a lot of questions in Tennessee, but you can answer some of them by winning down the stretch and getting into the postseason. We'll see what happens, but this was a sloppy game on both sides. But the better team won this football game, and that's the Indianapolis Colts. They've got a lot of deficiencies, a lot of things they have to clean up before the postseason starts because they're getting into the tournament. They're going to get a ticket to the dance. They deserve a ticket to the dance, but they've got to figure out who they're going to get the football to, how are they going to sustain offense, how is this defense going to respond, and they got to play better. They got to protect Andrew Luck better. They got to run the football better. They can't turn it over. They've got to be a better football team than the one I saw on Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. It wasn't pretty, but again, don't be pretty, don't be cute, be good. And the Indianapolis Colts were good enough to get this win, go to 8-4, and basically wrap up the AFC South crown in this football game. That's going to do it for this breakdown of this Sunday showdown matchup in week number 13 between the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. I've got a couple of more games to break down in Showdown Sunday, week 13 of the National Football League. Please come back and join me as I continue to break down the rest of the games in week number 13 of the National Football League. And remember, if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Thank you for joining me. See you here in a bit.